for the rest of this live. I can't hear you.
Okay, we're live. Hey everybody, it's your girl Niecy, and we are back with my partner Tink, and we're gonna have Destiny on. Um, she got the times a little mixed up because she's in Alabama and we're on the East Coast, but she's gonna try to come as quick as she can. I just talked to her on the phone. So as soon as she gets straight, she's gonna be popping on. Um, how you doing, Tink?
I'm good. I'm ready, child. I'm ready to talk this business, but I'm also ready to talk about that reunion.
I know, right?
We're gonna have to cover that at
We
some
got
point
we got a
today
few
during
questions
this
in the
show. But I'm really excited to talk to Destiny. I know that last time we didn't have her, but um I don't she's been making a lot of good moves. She did with the Hype Hair magazine with our other guest.
mm-hmm.
She did the
Yeah,
cover
she
of
made
that
the
and
cover. She made the
yeah.
cover before last. Tammy Roman is on this recent cover, but Disney was on the previous cover.
Mhm.
And honey, she looked so good. I said, you
Well, I
better
gotta check
give
that out.
it to us. Give it to us.
I gotta check that out. I gotta check it out. I did not see it.
She looks
I guess
really
I see
good.
it. Look, we
She
are
did one
giving exactly
of
the
those
opposite.
movies.
Huh?
She was like this. She did one of those power
She's
moves.
like this. Girl, no, I gotta check it out. I love Tammy Roman, because I like anybody who keep it honest, keep it real. You don't have to guess what they thinking, child.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. So what
Yeah.
are you excited for Destiny to come on? Is there anything that excites you more?
I just
Like,
like the fact that, she came out on the reunion the second time, the second part last night, and she's gonna be on our show today. So I feel like it's perfect timing, you know.
yeah,
And
I
she said
like
we
that.
can answer anything, but she's not gonna answer what she don't want to answer.
Baby, I
So
didn't get the memo. I would have had all types of questions. I didn't get the memo. I thought we was softball in that situation. Softball.
yeah, yeah, I don't want to go too hard. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
already know I'm never gonna go that hard because that ain't even, but then
Mhm.
again, my everyday life apparently is a solid fastball, apparently. So I don't know.
So
Baseball analogies.
you gonna tell the people about those fabulous products that got my braids looking crazy?
Y'all. So I don't know if you've seen this hair growth, but anywho. So I make all natural shampoos, conditioners, and healthy hair and skin products, and I make everything fresh from almond seeds. So first, my personal favorite would be my Lady H. I find
Okay.
that. Now that thing is, look, let me tell you, that's my personal favorite so much. So I've been getting real lazy these days. And as you know, I went to Mexico for my birthday. And so baby, that little pool water next to that wonderful, wonderful ocean. But that pool water is where I spent the majority of my time. That chlorine hit that scalp. And I needed this to revive my scalp. It was like
Mm.
patches, just whoo child. So I had to get in there. Like, girl, don't forget your routine. Don't forget how you got this situation. Don't forget how you got this. So anyway, that Lady H helped to revive that for me because I have these horrible scalp issues, and now I'm feeling good, feeling great. And then another favorite, I did this one as well. Ginger ale.
I love the ginger ale.
So the ginger ale, I also was using that just because it has that natural antibacterial in it. Like we all know, I don't need any more new follicles. I think I got all the new follicles. I think it gave me all the new follicles I'm gonna get. I don't know what you
Girl,
think.
I'm still getting new follicle growth,
Right.
like down all the way down on my forehead. I'm like, good gracious.
I think I got all the new follicles I'm gonna get. I feel like my hair is back to what it was when I was younger at this point. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
but what it does is that natural antibacterial helping with those patches also that I have the strength and repair from the Lady H, but then that natural antibacterial, you can't it don't hurt to go ahead and throw that in there. So I was like, let me hit that up there too. Plus, you know, you put the two together and it smells like cupcakes, baby. So, but yes.
Right. Okay, Destiny has popped up backstage, but right now her camera is off, so I don't know if she's
Let
ready
me
to
put the
come
girls away.
yet. Okay.
Should I put the girls away?
Okay, she's back on camera, y'all. So y'all know this lady. She's on the hit reality TV show, Love and Marriage Huntsville, and she came out last night looking like Jessica Rabbit in that dress, baby. I said, go, girl. What do you feel like she was looking like?
The other one was looking like Jessica Rabbit, not her. I thought she looked like she looked like the black Barbie. She was cute. I loved her. Remember, she had the
Christmas Barbie. Yeah.
Yes, the Christmas Barbie. Yes, baby.
Yeah. Like so I'm gonna add her on. Come on, Destiny. Hey, beautiful.
Hi, how y'all doing?
What you think, Destiny? You think you look like the Christmas Barbie?
I didn't even think about it.
Baby, you were giving me good fancy Christmas Barbie.
Okay, I'll take it.
You definitely one that I thought you looked the best out of all the ladies. And I'm not just
but they all look everybody looks so good. But I appreciate that. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Everybody did look good. I think everybody did look good. Just look. Does it take a special routine for you to get ready for these reunions, or you just naturally fit and in the gym?
That was my first reunion, so
I know. So what was the prep like?
I haven't worked out since I had my son, so I've been eating right, and I just started with a trainer actually last week, and I did look like little dance videos in the house when we were quarantined when he was little, but. I haven't. I'm just now getting back into it for real.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Well, I can't tell. So look at you, Lucky. Look at you. The rest of us are not blessed. Right. COVID hit me hard. So
listen, I don't know. I guess because I was nursing too, so that helped.
Oh yeah, right.
It helps a lot. A lot.
So with all that going on with you know, the business, because you got the businesses, right? So with the business, the show, the reunion, nursing, how does that, number one, how does that weigh on your mental, and how do you handle all that?
One day at a time. I think I like this side better. The lighting's better. I'm in the
car. Do you have any suggestions for the people? I mean, what would you suggest would be the best strategy to work through, to navigate through those things?
I can say what worked for me is finding gratitude in the dark times and knowing that being grateful when you do get to the good times, the dark times get less and less and less. Prayer for sure, because I always say but God. That's my hashtag, because but God, if it wasn't for God, it's funny, I got on Melody's t-shirt. God said go. Wait a minute, how can you get if it wasn't for God, like I don't. This season of my life was a true testament to understanding that it's all God, because I wouldn't have made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
why do you say this season was a true testament?
Because it was a lot. It was just like back to back things. And it was. I remember just saying one time to myself, like, God, when is it gonna stop? When is it gonna stop? And and I remember walking outside, Niecy? And it was a rainbow, and that was the first time in my life that I seen a rainbow, the full one, like where it started all the way to where it ended. I had never seen that before. I'm gonna post that. I gotta find it. But it was a reminder to me that like God said, I'm here, so keep pushing. Yeah, but it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but my life coach always says to me, one day at a time, because I'm a proactive thinker. And a lot of times when you are proactive, you get in front of God, and that's when things get out of whack.
Right.
Okay, so what did you do before you opened up the supply store?
Well, what did I do besides stripping? I wasn't a stripper. I was a flight attendant.
Hold up. Did you think about stripping though? Was it ever?
I didn't. I used to work on my moves. I worked on my moves in private, but I didn't ever think about taking it to the stage.
Niecy, you been talking to her about that pole?
Oh yeah, I got a pole in my room. Yeah,
Listen, I'm not mad at you.
it's good for fitness.
I
So
heard.
yeah,
I've taken some classes in it, and that ain't easy.
yeah.
But yeah, and I worked in the corporate world and in an executive position. So that was my last career before I actually jumped into. But I've always had my own business, be it an online clothing store. I had hookah pens. I mean, whatever you can think of, I may have tried it. But I realized that my family, my grandmother had never worked for anybody. She had an at-home daycare, and my uncle owned one of the first barbershops in this area in College Park, Georgia, in Atlanta. And so I've been around entrepreneurs my whole life and didn't even realize that I had that innately.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
So, how has the experience been since you were the first Black-owned beauty supply store in Huntsville?
Congratulations.
So, how has that experience
Thank you,
been?
Tink. It's been interesting. You know, you have it's been interesting. You have your support, you have your people that are you know, on the fence of, oh well, you know, it's been up and down. I say that the ride has been up and down for sure, but that's with any business.
Mm-hmm. So, what made you go into the hair supply? I mean, was it something that you were already interested in?
Well, I've always been in beauty. I did makeup before. I used to do makeup back in the day. I told you I did everything. And just for a little stint, maybe for probably about, I want to say a year, if even that long. And I've always loved clothing, hair, all that stuff. 'Cause I'm from Detroit, you know, that's just being into stuff like that. My dad dressed was just a thing. But I had a partnership, and there was a provisional patent we had on a beauty product, and
Okay.
we were shopping it around Atlanta and going to distribution. We're trying to get it distributed, and wanted the product, but they didn't want to work with two Black girls, and you know it was predominantly Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started. Both of us started shopping it at local beauty supply stores, and just going into these stores. And what really struck me was that out of in Atlanta, the Black Mecca, it was only
Mm-hmm.
one Black-owned beauty supply store.
Mm-hmm.
One. And it was the same issue that I faced, where I learned from her that, you know, they want you to buy in bulk. They want you to buy, you know, $10,000 worth of a product, where they would give their counterparts, you know, 20, and they would
Mm-hmm.
give them on a what they call like a 30-60 day term, and meaning they don't pay for the products. They get it in and make their money, then they pay for it. Whereas
Okay.
we would have to go in the bulk, and you know, that's why a lot of times you go into a Black-owned store and they're like, oh, it's so empty. But it's like, work with us, you know, keep shopping with us so we can get the funds to be able to make these orders. But now we're making such a mark and such a stamp with, you know, becoming owners, that they have to see us. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely, that's why I'm doing the Boss Beauty Tour with Leah Diaz. I always say it like it's Spanish.
Diet. Yeah.
Leah Diaz, the owner of Hype Hair, she was on Married to Medicine. Her and I are doing a Boss Beauty Tour to go out and educate people and give them information about getting into the beauty industry. She owns the Girl Cave in LA, so we both are beauty supply owners, and we just clicked, and it just made sense for us to do something together. Because I was like, girl, I have people in my inbox always asking me, how can I get into the beauty supply store industry or
Mm-hmm.
the beauty industry? And she had the same thing, and I said, well, let's take the show on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was on our show earlier this year, and she's a super cool chick.
Yeah, she
Love.
Yeah.
is. That's my girl.
So
Yeah.
you gonna continue with the business luncheons that you were doing?
Absolutely. I have a good time at those, especially networking with people and just being able to get some insight on various businesses and making connections. Because the whole event, you know, a lot of times men are shy to come because it says beauty. Beauty lunch, beauty and business luncheon. They don't listen to the business part, but the whole point of that
Mm-hmm.
is to network and meet people that can help you with your journey and your business, or getting started, or leveling up, or whatever it is. And that was my premise for the event.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
our goal here too. I mean, our goal is we felt there was a need for female entrepreneurs to connect. And we thought, you know what, we're
Mm-hmm.
going to start this live off and see how this goes, because we always seem to know somebody who should know somebody who should know somebody in order for us to all collab. and it doesn't always seem to work out that way. And rolling back to what you're saying about the Asian owned businesses, I mean, we're trying to get more Black owned businesses out there too, so we don't have to experience those same things that you went through. Because I know I'm the type of person, you know, I'm like, hey, if I can't get it to work in your shop, I'm just going to go ahead and build my own, similar to, I guess, what you did. I'm like, I'm going to build my own. I'm not going to deal with this.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, and to add to that story, outside of, you know, finding out about the and then doing my research on Black owned in the U.S., it was literally a handful. And this was a little over 7 years ago. And when I went... Oh yeah, it's definitely grown since, and there's so many people that are interested. They just don't know how to get into it. The other thing that happened to me was I was in a beauty supply store and I was asked to be searched, and that was the nail in the coffin for me, because it was a big old police officer standing over my shoulder, tapping me on my shoulder, saying, "Hey, ma'am, I need to search your purse." And I'm on the phone, running my mouth, looking at some makeup brushes, and I said, "What?" And I had this big Never Full bag, and I dumped it over on the counter. I said, "Look at whatever you want to look at." And he's like, so nice. I'm sorry. No, I was shaking. I was trying to keep that bull down.
Girl, we acting real different in that situation. I'm like, but I'm going to be calm and professional, but I'm going to be like, yeah, you're not going to touch me. But what we are going to do is get a lawyer out here. I'll wait all day.
Listen, I just poured it over, and he was embarrassed, because I was like, look. And he was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm just doing my job." Da, da, da. And then it was almost simultaneously that I heard a girl in the corner say, "Stop following me." It was like a movie scene. So right when that happened, then I heard a girl say, "Stop following me." And I'm just like, and my god sister was at the register, and she was like, "What's going on?" She was just getting her receipt. She was like, "Oh, hell no. Take all this back. And you better not say that I don't get no refund." Oh, yeah. So I just remember, like, I'll never come back to this place again. And I remember coming to Huntsville to get my hair done from Atlanta. And I had nowhere else to go but that place. And I said to myself, I'm opening up a store here, because I'm never going to have to feel like this again.
There you go. Yes, be the solution. No, I had a situation at a hair store one time. It was it's always something. But long story short of it was I was trying to do a refund. The lady comes, she followed me out to my car, because again, I'm just the type of person, you're going to get a 0 or you're going to get a 10 with this energy. So I was like, you can do what you want to do. You done handed me the money, like, follow me, do a cartwheel. I don't care. So I'm walking to the car, and she's like, I'm going to take a picture of your license plate. I hope you move from in front of this car, because it's moving. Hope you move. But yeah, she was, I'm taking a picture of your license plate. She tried to climb on my car. I was like, oh, she's trying it. Well, this car's going to move regardless.
That's a lot. And then, watching all those videos, we went through that series of all those videos of how, we were being treated in nail salons and beauty supply stores. And I remember it made me think about some of the experiences that I had. Like, I went to a beauty supply store in Riverdale, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and they had lockers. So when you walk in, you literally give them your jacket and your bag, and you had to put your stuff in the locker. And I remember saying, I'm not doing that. I don't know why people are that might be going through my stuff.
Right. What's the locker for?
Like, I'm
for
not
all
giving
for all your personals. You have to take your jacket off and put your purse in this locker before you can shop.
Oh no. Oh no.
This beauty supply store was just putting your bag behind the counter.
Oh no.
Like, you're not getting my purse.
Look, I'd be mad if I go to the nail shop and they'd be like, can you pay half in advance? Who? What? No. I got this money. You better wait.
Oh wow. Okay.
You better wait.
Crazy.
Well, so I'm from the DMV area, so we don't really have those types of problems. And like, I don't know if you ever seen any DMV videos of that, because like, you don't want that smoke. Like, it's not happening. You ain't taking my stuff. You're not gonna touch me. Congratulations. Keep all that energy you have, but just keep it there. Keep it over there. Because you don't want the smoke. We're gonna make the news for show, baby. Oh, so anywho, but thank God, blessed that it hasn't really happened. But I've had, different little experiences. But it's sad to say that I think that we've all had different experiences with some of the, and I don't want to just say Asian owned, because I've been to some other owned facilities owned by, people not Black owned facilities
Arab.
and
The
experience some
other
things there
side
as
of
well.
it is Asian and Arab owned. The Arab owned are getting they're getting more into the industry as well.
Yeah, I'm like you. When I first experienced some of it and saw some of the things that were happening online, I don't know if it was like a thing that was happening all of a sudden. I was like, I'm gonna buy a nail salon. I don't know nothing about these nails, child, but I think I want to buy a salon. Let's just get this
That
over
part,
with.
because that experience, I had an experience in a nail salon too. This guy told me
Yeah.
don't teach. He said don't teach broken English, of course, because I was like, yeah, no, I want to get this, and he kept trying to convince me to get something else. And as I processed it afterwards, I realized he didn't know how to do what I was asking, so he was trying to get me to do something else. And so I was like, yeah, no, and then I was like, yeah. So when he started to do what I asked him to do, he started out prefaces it with, "Don't teach," and I said, "What? Don't teach?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "So you're telling me?" I was like, I'm done. I'm good.
Telling you what?
I mean, he was like snatching my hand, and I'm like, oh no, this ain't gonna work.
But why don't teach? I don't understand.
He was saying basically because I was telling him how I like my nails and how I wanted them to be.
Don't
so
teach.
throughout the process, he was basically saying to me, don't teach me, don't tell me how to do your nails.
Well, I know they hate me because I'm a teacher, professor, and everything. I'd be like, this the shape you want? Let me show you a picture. They got it here on Pinterest.
And how I want my services to be done. How you gonna tell me? I'm a doctorate in that.
Like, I'm trying to help you, sir. Like, we don't want no problems at the end. Just look at Pinterest picture. Look at this Pinterest picture. But anyway, but with that, you know what? I have to ask this question because Niecy knows that I have been dying to ask you this question. And I know I'm skipping ahead.
Am I supposed to answer these questions that are popping
because of the business stuff?
If she could answer this question first.
Okay.
Someone to know how's your dad. It was nice seeing him this season.
He is awesome. He is awesome. One of my best friends. He's doing really well.
That's great.
Y'all see more of him this season.
So then speaking of your dad, right? And then that goes along with the question that I have. And one of the things that you said on the show, and Niecy knows how important this is to me. I wanted to talk about your village, what you mentioned about your village. First of all, I want to know, have you grown your village since then?
Well, I would say this.
How's your village grown?
For me, in that moment when I made that statement, I was in a place of just not really understanding, you know, being a new mom and being on a TV show, running a business, dealing with COVID. It was a lot. So a lot of times I would be just in the house with my son. And I remember my cousin saying, I'm worried about you, because she knows how big of a life I lived before COVID and all that stuff. And I was just in a weird place. I was in a weird place and not really understanding that God is my village in that moment. And just, you know, and the whole, what they missed in that conversation was that it wasn't that I was asking her to be a part of my village. What I was saying was, when I'm expressing my feelings and I'm telling you that I'm not, I don't feel like I have as much support as I should have, or that I want. Let me say that I want, because nobody has to do anything for you. It was never about me asking for that person to be a part of my village. It was more so like, hear me, just hear me, like just.
That's kind of what I got.
Just hear me. Yeah. Because truth be told, I've kept the Hope kids, and so it's not a thing for me to you know, bring my son, and for me it's great because they run around and they basically take care of him, because they're you know, they're a close-knit group. And so for me, it's just like my village. And after that, since then, I realized I do have a village outside of God. Just showed me like, hey, I'm your village, and this is what you have. And another thing too, being a new mom and me being a boss, it's kind of hard to give that control away. But now that I'm getting more comfortable in my role, and you know, just finding balance, and that's a day-to-day process. I'm getting better with allowing people to help me.
That's good.
So, plus, you know, COVID ain't as scary as it was, because I was pregnant with and then COVID hit. So already a new mom, and you're going to be protective, but with something that I had to Google what a pandemic was, because I'm like, what the heck is a pandemic? And when I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm about to have a baby in this.
Not you missed the lesson in English about the Spanish flu, child.
Shoot, listen, I just was like, okay, the flu, here it is. Okay, next. Yeah.
Yes, I think COVID took a lot of us by surprise, because me being a nurse, I was like, oh, it's
thank
not
you
gonna
for
be
your service, Miss Niecy. I said thank you for your service, because that's definitely a service field job.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, I just didn't think it was gonna get this bad because of modern medicine. And I think sometimes we feel spoiled, you know, being here in America, that we didn't have to deal with a lot of the other you know, things that came out. And I just feel like COVID really stunned us. Like, it was like, what?
To say the least. For sure. For sure.
I wanted
to Tink, did you get your answer question? Your question?
No, because I have a follow up. Well, so the reason I'm interested in it is because I have actually had that same conversation with somebody, and my son, so smart, you know, he's 18, and he had to tell me, he said, Mom, did you know people are inherently selfish? Like, everyone is inherently selfish. And so with that, my thought was, one of the things I want to ask you, do you think that it's possible that you are fully apart? And now I get that God is your village, but I'm talking about your village here on earth, right? So, or people village, that's what I should say. So, is it possible that you are a part of Melody's village, but she is not a part of yours? All right, we're gonna move on. So anywho, it was just a thought of mine, because I have had that happen to me, where I'm like, I'm such a very like gung ho, like, if you my friend, I'm a ride for you.
I wouldn't say Melody's not a part of my village, because she's definitely been there for me in really, really tough times. I will say that. But a lot of times you have to know your friends, and you have to know how to be there for them. So.
And, you know, a lot of people don't understand exactly what you need unless you voice that. And you voicing that, I hope that
I felt like she was voicing it though.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I just said, you know, it's been a difficult journey for me to get to the point where I was okay with help. Like, I would have conversations like, oh my God, like, you know, I need, you know, I need a break, or I need this, or I need that. And, you know, my friends would be like, you never ask, you know, we don't know. I'm the strong friend, right? So I'm the one that nobody ever thinks to ask, do they need anything?
And I had a conversation with you. Look, I had a conversation, because I'm like, look, I'm not Superwoman. Y'all think I'm Superwoman, but I'm not Superwoman. Like, I need help once in a while too. You know what I mean? Even Superwoman break.
Could you imagine? This is how my cousin broke it down to me, and she was just like, you know, I was just thinking about where you and I'm sorry, it was after I was in a good place that we had this conversation, not while I was in the space that she saw me in. And she said she would talk to my cousins and say, you know, just think about it. Destiny moved back to Huntsville. I haven't been to Huntsville in some decades now, and I've lived everywhere, larger cities, and I moved back with no friends, new friends. They got their own things going on, and Huntsville is a family town. And now I'm going through a divorce and pretty much single with a baby, running a business on a TV show, having to close because of pandemic. It's so many different things. And it's like, basically, she said to me, I felt like you were there alone. Because, you know, my dad, he's 70. My son runs circles around him, and he's just looking like grandson. And so, and then, you know, I have a God family here too, but they have 4 grandkids. So, and they're always, I'm sorry, it's 5 of them, 5 grandkids and 1 on the way. So it's like, to, you know, bring love and play is cool, but for me to leave them is like a lot. And they're not in their 20s, 30s. You're talking about like 50s and 70s. is age.
Mm-hmm.
And so so it was just like, you know, sometimes it was a lot. I mean, to say the least, it was a lot.
So how'd you get through it? Like, what was your, so I'm a strong personality myself. I was gonna say two, but you know, I'm gonna say myself, right? So I'm a strong personality. And as far as, you know, I like to get things done a certain way. Me personally, when I go through situations like that, sometimes I have a habit of like, what'd you call it, Niecy? I don't know. Niecy be like, something's different with you.
Internalizing it,
Like, I will like go away from people. I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to like try to figure it out, deal with it, and then I'm gonna come back. You may not know anything happened, but because I'm so like, hey, how you doing? Once I disappear, people are like, what's going on with you?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you deal with it? Did you disappear? Did you make changes? Did you get counseling? What'd you do?
I feel like I did a little bit of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
To be honest, a little bit of all of that. I talked to my pastor. You know, we used to have Friday calls, and then, you know, that stopped for a while because just being in a rat race, you know, his schedule, my schedule. And then my life coach, I mean, thank you, God, for a strong woman that is my life coach. It has to be, Lord Jesus. She had some real tough conversations with me, and, you know, I would be mad, like, ugh. And you know, saying what you know, not agreeing with what she said. And it's so funny because I always have these epiphanies. Like, I'll be stark mad at her, like, you know, that's not even true. And then I had one the other day, walking in the parking lot, just like, oh wait, she was right. And I had those moments a lot, especially when you have to face yourself and what you need to work on and fix. But understanding that if you always look at it as the other person's fault, then you can't really heal. So you got to figure out what you could have done better, or how you could be a better person in the next season. Has helped me through. And then God set me all the way down to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't get out of bed. And I literally was like, I'm not gonna let. No, it was just 2 days. It was literally a day and a half. Okay. And I was just like, I'm not going to let this circumstance or any man or any situation kill me. Mm-hmm. For real. Because I couldn't, my body hurt. I couldn't get up. I just didn't have it. And so I just remember God saying, get on your knees.
What do you think, Niecy, about that? She couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah, I feel like you were going through depression.
Probably so, but it was a circumstance that happened, and I won't speak about what the circumstance was, but it was something that happened. And after that happened, I literally couldn't get out of bed that next day. So
whatever the circumstance are, but the symptoms are, I guess, the result or whatever. To me, it was like a mild case of depression.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Because I always, when I said, God, when this is going to stop, it was so much. It was so much. And I am naturally a positive. Like, you can't even speak negative around me. I get, ugh. So it was just like, it was just so much of me trying to get out of what I was dealing with and talking about it. And it just, to the point where I was listening to myself, like, damn, I'm tired of hearing this. Like, I'm tired of hearing it.
That kind of leads into the next question that I had. You know.
What's your sign, Destiny? Hold on. What's your sign?
Taurus.
I don't know what that is. Taurus. Okay.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
You don't like the Taurus? What's going on?
Yeah, you know those Tauruses are stubborn. Like,
I'm a fan, baby. I'm a fan.
Want to take care of everything themselves. Like, want control.
I'm okay with that. It's better than them. We won't name them signs, but it's better than some of them signs who don't want to do nothing.
Well, I say this, that's where I'm maturing. I'm learning to find a balance and wanting to be in control, because again, like I said, I'm a proactive thinker, and being in control is still getting in front of God. So I'm learning the lesson that, you know, day by day.
Okay, so my question was, how do you define marriage? Because it was a whole thing last night on a reunion about you hyphenating your name. So how do you define marriage?
Listen, I don't know. Clearly, I didn't define it because I ain't married no more.
How about you don't need to define it for the masses, but what is your personal definition of marriage? Is that a better?
What is my definition of marriage, or what am I looking for in
I
a
think,
partner?
what are you looking for? That's what I would want to know.
A true protector, provider, and a man that is led by God, and not someone that just says it. Because one of the things that brings out my masculine energy is when I feel like I have to protect myself because of my circumstances and where I came from. You know, I was in foster care and group homes. My dad had to fight for custody of me, so I had to become a very strong, protective person of myself. So if I'm in a situation where I feel like, why aren't you protecting me? Then I'm gonna rev up and do it. And that's why I said what I said. Where's the man that can bring the woman out of me? Because if I'm comfortable in knowing that you got me,
I like that statement. I like that statement.
There is no reason for me to be, you know, for me to give you BDE.
Right.
Big D energy. Because I mean, and there will be moments, but I need a man strong enough to understand those moments.
Right.
Because that's just a part of my personality.
Right.
Agreed.
You don't like, have to take care of yourself. Like my godmother, she met me when I was 6 years old, and she said to me, "You walked in this house a woman. I literally couldn't do anything for you." She said, you were combing your own hair, you were dressing yourself, and she said, when I walked in, I said, "Where's my room?" In my mind, I remember being super shy, holding on to a teddy bear, like, oh. She said, "Oh no, you walked in here a whole woman."
But I mean, I think sometimes when you don't have people who have protected you and you're used to protecting yourself, I think that's what people don't realize. So when you mentioned the BDE, right? So one of the comments I did not like was well, she got a tendency to talk like a man. What does that sound like? Can you, in your best voice, Destiny, can you please talk like a man to me? I just want to. What does it sound like? I don't know.
I don't know how to talk like a man.
I don't know. I was just like, sound like a man. You mean, is the sound like a man confident? Is it because I have a boss, so I talk like a boss? Is it?
I feel like
this,
and I definitely experienced this in the corporate world. I was a
indeed.
bitch. Can I say that? Can I say that on this show?
Yes, indeed.
But then I remember going at it with my superior saying, if I was a man, I would never be called that.
Look,
I would never be
my
called
thing
that.
was, I've been, I've done a lot of different things or whatever. I'm somewhat of an entrepreneur myself, and so, but I have one of my own businesses now, and in that time, I've experienced, different people, especially men. But I think I have a different response back. Remember, I'm a 0 or a 10, but I've had people be like, "No, shh, shh, let me tell you what happened." And I'll be like, "Oh, look at him with his hand in my face." Look at,
this ain't really. This is.
I think it's kind of funny. Really, Cause it's not funny. I guess I have a nervous laughter, but I'm just like, look at you with your hand in my face. But if I was to smack your hand on my face, or if I was to say something, then I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? But
I think that men, for me, what I've experienced with men that think that I'm aggressive, or women, people in general,
they betas?
I don't even know. I don't really know, but I feel like, especially with men, let me just use men as an example. When they say you're aggressive, you act like a man, you're this, is that. It's whatever, whoever I am, and my strength sparks insecurity in you. And that's why you feel like I am. I guess.
A beta. Sure. So I'm going to say that, in my opinion, you wouldn't be threatened by how secure I am and what I'm saying if you were able to rise to the occasion or surpass this experience, right? So you would be fine, because I'm not fazed by you at all. But you seem to be worried about what's coming out of my mouth and the way I act and the way I talk. To me, that's a beta male. Like, yeah.
Destiny, it's like I can relate to you so much in that, because whenever I got with my husband, I wasn't used to a man, wanting to be my protector. I was so used to handling all the bills, handling all the stress in relationships. And I got with my husband, he was somebody who wanted to protect me. It felt weird. Like, wait a minute, you want to control me because, you doing
you don't even know how to accept it because you've been doing it for so long.
Right.
And that's what's happening. That's what's happening with just the way the structure of our community anyway. I hear these stories about, women raise their daughters and love their sons. We're making these little boys punks, and they don't even know how to step up and be a man.
We just talk about that.
And it's
we were just talking about that.
And it's like, a lot of times the mothers are clinging on to the son and they don't even know how to balance their emotion and all that energy that's coming. It's just all over the place. And then we are survivors, you know, as women. So we're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and our men are getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and they just can't handle it.
You know, I have a 23-year-old and I have an 18-year-old, and we were just having this conversation because I just feel like, you know, single woman now and everything. I just feel like I raised my boys to be what I felt a woman should be happy to have, right? I was like, this is what I want for these ladies, right? So my oldest son is a software developer, web developer, you know, great with finances. My youngest son, he's studying to be a psychiatrist. Like, this is what I want to provide to the world, right? And there are times, you know, because me and my sons are really close, but I do make sure and draw that line, because I've experienced that with my ex-mother-in-law too. Like, that's not your man. That's not your man. You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to make sure and let people, you know, when you have your kids, especially your boys, I don't know how you feel about this, Niecy, but I feel like you have to make sure you don't overstep, because you're not the wife.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that going around. It's really hard, because, you know, I know, and as a mom of a boy, and just as him, you know, being a baby, I see how he's connected to me, and as they matriculate, you know, and there's just how they love them. Even my dad and my grandmother, like, it's just different. The connection with mom and son, just like dad and daughter, is different. And if you, a lot of times, these women were single and didn't have anybody else, so they put all of this on their boy children. And then sometimes when it's time for them to step into the role of being a man for somebody else, they're tired.
I'm trying.
They don't even want to do it.
And yeah,
they just want somebody to have sex with to fill the void that they're missing from what they're not getting. So it's so imbalanced. And, you know, the society is already designed to break the Black family. So they already had prison, they already had drugs, and now it's a psychological breakdown of the Black family.
I don't know if you've ever heard the thing before, like Niecy and I had that conversation on another show, where it was like, I think it started actually around the 70s, where they originally had schools for Black men and women that were designed to teach you some sort of skill. And then they took that away. So that was the first step to destroying the Black family, right? Because it was like, now we're not even going to teach you a skill. You already have, like, you know, one foot out the door because you're Black, but then now we're not even going to teach you a skill no more. And then after we start teaching the skill, then it was like, oh, you know what, let's introduce the drugs. And then it was the drugs, and, you know, like, that's going to be your skill. And then when they sell that and then sell it to your own community, but prior to any of that, there was the pitting, you know, the colorism, right? The pitting the colors against each other. So from the very beginning, we were designed to be against each other. So it's a constant rebuild. And then now I totally agree with what you're saying. I feel like some of these men are just not.
And a lot of the misogynistic behavior, like you know, a woman shouldn't be so mouthy, or a woman should be in her place, that came from slavery.
I heard those words on a reunion.
Did you hear that?
I think I heard somebody say that women shouldn't be so mouthy. Two of them people on the stage with some mouthy little females. That's what I had heard. But go ahead.
Sounds like something for me. But for me to answer that and to put that all together, like, even the way that a lot of us Black families raise our kids, that came from generational stuff from slavery, you know. And then the whole last name thing, like, I don't have a problem with taking a person's last name, but if you're in a relationship, you should try to understand where the other person is coming from, because at the end of the day, your legacy is continued by your children, not by your wife. So realistically, the reason why the names were changed was because that they became property.
To show ownership.
Yeah.
To show ownership.
So it's
but,
like, you know, if you know you got this person, you don't have to feel like you need to own me.
Let me tell you this. So I was ready to change this last name.
So many layers of insecurities.
I was ready to change this last name. I was like, yes, change it. Can't wait. Who wants it? Like, so it's different though. So my last name though was Barnes, and you know, that's a whole thing, right? Can you imagine being Barnes? It's like, oh, barn animals and blah blah. So I was like, who gonna give me a new last name?
Like I hyphenate my last
Listen,
name.
and mine is Payton. I used to always joke and say, yeah,
That's a
pay me
good
a ton
name.
of money.
Yeah, that's a good name. That's a
For
good
me,
corporate name, girl.
And the craziest thing about all of this,
Let me
the,
stop.
the craziest thing about the name thing is that my father is actually a Williams, and so is my ex-husband. My mother is a Payton. So I fought my father on changing my name when he got custody of me. So I never became a Williams. I'm a Williams regardless,
But
but
wait,
I never. And I said,
is
this
that what
man
it
got me
really is
to
though? Let's think about that though. Were you really fighting for your mom to keep your mom? You know what I'm saying?
I was fighting to keep some form of connection with my mother and my
Right.
brother
That's what
who
I'm
was
saying.
murdered.
So you were
That's
fighting.
the
So it
family
wasn't
that
just
I had
about.
before.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. That was the family that I had before, me and my brother got snatched and put in foster care, and then we got separated and put in a
And
group
now we
home,
know.
and then, we would see each other in the summertime, so that was what I knew was my family before
Yeah.
my dad got custody of me. So, and over the years, I'm a girl child being raised by a man, and people are like, where's your mom? Like, that's unheard of, especially then.
Yeah.
And so it was just like my one way to stay connected to my family that was in Detroit, which is who I grew up with. And so it just it's sentimental to me. Just like they say legacy is
Yeah.
important.
That's your legacy.
That absolutely. And but don't make me cry, Tink. I was saying,
I'm not
just to
trying
hear
to.
just to hear people say, well, there's men in history that left, there's women too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to
That
find the
back in the
balance and
day, because like
acknowledging
my
both
grandma.
sexes.
Yeah. Well, my grandma, her name was Helen, and she had named her daughter Helen, because there used to be juniors in the female thing too. Well, especially in the South, right? So there used to be junior thing too. And that was sometimes their way of leaving a legacy. But I think first of all, I just want to say, I'm glad that you said this, because there was this wonder as to why she doesn't want to change her name, as if it was something simple, but it was a deeper thing for you. And I think that's beautiful that you wanted to keep that connection to your mother. And I'm going to assume you explained that to your husband. So I don't understand
I even said it at
why
my
there's
wedding
this.
at our speech, and I said, I said, sorry to cut you off, and I just
No, go
remember saying
ahead.
this at our ceremony afterwards, because we had a wedding at West Point, and then we just had like a cocktail hour and drinks, and so it was really intimate. And everybody was getting on the mic and saying, things about the both of us, and I said, this is the one man that could get me to take the Williams name. My father couldn't even get me to do it, and it was just like, that should carry some weight. It may be hyphenated, but it's the Williams name.
Well, like I told my husband, I said I was born with my last name and I'm gonna die with my last name. So
I'll take anybody's
what we gonna
name.
do? I'm gonna hyphenate my last name. I said I hyphenated it my first marriage, and I'm hyphenated this marriage. He didn't like it because my husband is very antiquated about things like that. But I told him that's something I wasn't willing to change. And if it's a deal breaker, it's a deal breaker.
I think everybody has an experience, and I think that's something that some people don't think about. Sometimes women have experiences that make them decide whether or not to keep their last name or not. Like, I'm making a joke of it, but honestly, the reason I don't care about keeping my last name is because it's not really my dad's last name. So, like, he found that out when he joined the military, that was not his name at all. Like, it was, his mom just gave him that name. And because they were in the South, in North Carolina, they let him rock with it.
That's so crazy too.
Yeah, so our last name was really something else. And so when he was in the military, they were like, what you want to do? What you want to do? You want this name or that name? And he was like, well, I guess I'll just go with the name I've been raised with. And so, as I got older, he told me, he was like, yeah, that's not our last name. That's not my birthday. That's not none of it was real, other than that was his mom. But it's like, he didn't. So for me, I'm like, I'll take anybody's name. I don't care. It's not mine.
Listen, it's
I
funny
be looking at people on
that,
these streets, child, like, what your name sound like? Sounds good to me.
What that sound like next to my name?
Right,
So for me, my
next
next husband, I don't know. Like, am I gonna hyphenate? Am I gonna be Payton-Williams something else? Or be Payton?
So you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. In my experience, I have dated a little bit, and I have my current married name, and which I love, by the way. It's Wilds.
Okay, Tink Wilds.
Right? It sounds good with it, right? So I was like, I'm gonna keep that name. I'm gonna keep that name. And my boyfriend at the time was like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. What we're not gonna do is not you hyphenate your married name to my name. I was
Because
like,
I thought about it. I thought about hyphenating my previous husband's name with my current husband's name just because my children had that name.
Wait, can you hear? Me or Niecy? Oh, are you talking? Are you talking? Because let me see if I can hear you. Say something.
Can you hear me?
No, her. She can't hear either one of us. Destiny, talk. Talk. She's just quiet. She can't hear. I think she's back. I saw her name pop back up. She was saying she couldn't hear us.
Oh, okay.
Type her and see if she can hear and tell her to talk. She might have lost a little bit of connection. Anywho, but I guess while you're doing that, but yeah, so I know that you were married, and you were talking about maybe keeping both of your last names.
Yeah, I was thinking about that just because my kids had that last name.
I know,
I was
right?
willing to drop my maiden name so I could have the same last name as my kids, but that really didn't go over well.
Girl, they don't want that married name. They like, that's not even your maiden name. You will give me some other man name and attach it to my name? But I was like, yeah, my kids got this name. This is my name. Look, I've been working on this name for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? This is my name. This is my name. You know what I mean? This ain't even your name no more. Look, and I know they mad too. They probably like, I hope she get rid of that name. I'm going to keep it forever. Forever.
I'm trying to
You can't hear. So did you type her? Niecy, did you type her? She can't hear because I think she's gonna just go ahead and drop off then if she can't hear.
I just put something on the screen. I told her to go out and come back.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, baby, I'm gonna keep this name forever or until somebody else give me another last name. But I don't know about that. I might just keep it anyways. Because my kids got this name. It's the three of us, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, girl, I like Destiny.
Destiny is really cool.
She's giving me good energy. The big dick energy I don't know about because I think, I've been accused of having big dick energy too, I guess. But maybe the three of us.
I don't know what it is, but
I can hear y'all now.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
I said, look, I don't know. I've been accused of having big dick energy myself, so I don't really know what,
I would definitely agree with that, Tink.
What? Look at here. No, ma'am. I got Tink energy. It's a special little fairy dust. You feel me? Like
she's very alpha. She's very alpha. I will give
okay.
that to her.
We won't get on Tink and her albums. No,
I think the older I've gotten, it's like I'm starting to calm down because I'm a Leo, and we like the rules.
Keep that line tight.
But as I'm getting older, I'm learning to chill out, and I make more concessions in my relationship than I used to. So,
well, for me, I feel like, yeah, and for me,
you feel like what?
And
Go ahead.
No, you asked Niecy what did she feel like. You didn't hear?
Oh no, I didn't hear.
I didn't hear it.
Niecy said, okay, I feel like, and you said you feel like what? And I guess you wait for her to answer. I was gonna say, let me see, because I almost lost my thought.
Well, I got a question if you lost your train of thought. So I do want to ask this question because we have our next guest that is coming on or whatever, but I wanted to ask, there was a statement that was made at the reunion about they feel like Tiffany and her husband are not giving their true authentic self. And I wanted to know your thoughts on that because I feel like you were the first
there
one
it is.
to say.
It came back to me by you saying them. Hold that thought. My
Okay.
thing was, I agree. I was about to say something about going through divorce. I agree with Lou that you definitely gain wisdom. So in my thought process going forward is that, you can have compatibility in certain areas, like you might be attracted to that person, you might have what seems to be the same goals, but you really have to feel and know that you're equally yoked. So a lot of times that rah-rah comes from you not being equally yoked. And
Yeah.
it sounds like, oh yeah, it sounds like the Bible, whatever, and it's just okay, sir. But no, real talk. Like, you really need to have the same true core ideals, because a lot of times we'll get together with someone, and how you're raised is a huge part of it, but also how you evolve. And if you're not evolving, that's even worse. Oh, well, my
Yeah.
granddaddy did this, and I'm like, well, your granddaddy was 100 years old, or married when he was 22, and your grandma was 12, and it just is not the same. And it's like, y'all want a
I was
strong
like,
woman
I'm
that's a
not your
go-getter, that's
grandmama. This is
making
a new
her own
relationship, so
money,
let's do something different.
making their own money, and then you want them to be at home still cooking dinner every night and giving you some every night. That balance doesn't work, because when those women were at home, they were being taken care of, so their mindset and on duties were different. If I ain't out in the
Right.
field working or whatever, then I might have some energy to give you some couple days, 5 days out of the week. But
Look, not you want me to go out and get these 6 figures, come back, take care of these kids, do homework, cook, and hang from chandeliers. Like, what? Every day?
that part.
Speaking
Okay,
of
sorry about
kids,
that. What's your questions?
how did you come up with your son's name?
Hold on.
Actually,
No, hold up. I had asked the question about Tiffany and the husband. Hold up. I forgot. Wait, what? Hold on.
Maybe she don't want to
I'm
answer it.
sorry,
I didn't
Niecy.
hear the
I
question.
want to know.
Did I think? Do I think they're being transparent? Is that what the question
Yeah,
was?
because I was going to say, because you were one of the first ones to say and stick to, before anybody else said it, hey, I think you're not giving everything. Like, you asking everybody else's business, but you ain't giving your business.
I stand by that still. 100.
How's your relationship with Tiffany?
I think
All right,
Tiffany.
Niecy, ask your question.
Huh?
I said, all right, Niecy, ask your question. I didn't know if that's the one we're not gonna answer. I don't know.
I think Tiffany definitely can be super cool. We've had some, like I even said it during I forgot what segment it was, but I was just like, we have laughable moments, but she got a smart mouth, and it's
I don't know about
interesting.
that. I don't think it's a smart. I almost want to rephrase that, because smart mouth, I don't know, because I think I could have a smart mouth, but I think hers is very like, I don't like, what I'm seeing, I feel like, is a cut, like a throwing of a dagger, and then being like, oh my gosh, did the dagger hurt you? What? That's what I feel like I'm seeing.
Well, I just feel like she's to me, she'll get smart with you in a minute, and it's not like, where it's like a banter, where it's like a back and forth, like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. It's more like you said, it cuts a little bit. And you're like, wait, what? So to me, that's like almost like a child talking back. It's like, wait, who are you talking to? But
she said, did you know I'm from Detroit? What happened?
But no. She does have some cool sides, and maybe she'll find the balance in how she relates to us.
I like the conversation that you guys had at the restaurant. I feel like there was a little peek into her, and I think that's the only peek that we got. But she's supposed to come on next, and I'm hoping that
Well, hit her up and see if she's coming. But
side of her.
But I had a question about that. I do feel like they had this moment where they kind of connected on a few things, but that really only came from, and correct me if I'm wrong, that came from Destiny pushing the situation, saying, look, it's constantly a problem. People are not letting us handle it on our own. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you to the side so we can just figure this out. We either going to figure this out, or we going to figure this out. I felt like it was Destiny making that move. Am I right? I mean, because otherwise, how would you have gotten to that place? She wasn't going to be forthcoming. Or do you think she would have eventually been forthcoming? And do you see her being more forthcoming and transparent in the next season?
Well, I don't think she can be the transparent police and not be transparent in the next coming season. She has to be, because you put yourself in that position where you have, talked about it so much where it's a trigger for me when somebody says that word. I'm like, don't say transparency to me.
Oh
Wait,
Lord,
don't say that.
Lord.
But
last night.
yes, and it's to me, it's just like, she's almost obligated to be transparent in this next season.
Okay, so getting on to your son, how did you come up with his name?
Well, initially, these names, man. My ex-husband wanted a junior.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want no junior.
That part.
I always feel like children have their own, they should have their own identities and all that. But to honor my husband, I've had 5 miscarriages, and I said, hey, I just want to give him a piece of his name.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, can he be a second? And I give him the middle name Ace. And because I want him to be my ace.
Yeah.
And we got to a point where it was just like, if it's not going to be a junior, then don't use it at all. So,
wow.
Laberic Ace Williams spells law. So that's how he became Law.
Oh, that's so clever. Okay. Well, I had.
And his initials are LAW, so he's Law either way.
Well, there you go. No, my ex-husband wanted a junior as well. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I said the exact same thing. Like, I want him to be like an individual. I want him to have his own name. Like, this is my name, But, and so I ended up, we did the little veto thing or whatever. So I let him choose the name, you know what I mean? But even though he don't know, my son got that name because Omar Epps had it in 2 movies. But I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so good. Where did you come up with that?
Yeah, that's how he became my little Lala.
Congrats. I love the name Law.
We're coming to the end, towards the end of the show, and there's a lot of people in the comments asking when you're gonna have a next event. When are you gonna franchise and do things like that? So, that was wondering what's gonna be your next move as far as that.
I love the brunch, by the way. Are you doing any more of those?
Yeah, it's a beauty and business luncheon. I will be doing some more luncheons with this tour coming up. That's kind of like my focus right now, the Boss Beauty tour, to get everything done with that logistically and sponsor wise, because this requires a little bit more than the luncheon. I kind of can do that with my eyes closed now. Because real talk, the one that we did for the show, I lost my venue like 2 or 3 days before, and it was interesting. So I'm like, yeah, if I went through that and it still came out the way that it did, then I can do this in my sleep. So the Boss Beauty tour is next, and then I'm not quite sure when I'm going to launch this, but I have a product line coming out, and it is called the Glow Up Collection. It is products that I used after I had my son. I had a company just, I had people just when I opened my store, people would just send me things, and my edges came out. People don't tell you that if you have kids, you lose your edges and your skin gets crazy. And it's because, I think it's because you abruptly just stopped. For me, I stopped taking all my vitamins because it's a job when you're pregnant to take all them vitamins. So for me, and I'm an edge queen. Like, I'm gonna soup dupe some edges in a second. But I was like, whoa, like, wait a minute. I've never seen my skin right here before. And so I had the little gift package that the company sent to me, and I started using it. And then it was also some like, skin oil in there too, and I used that on some things that were going weird with my skin. And I just reached out back to the company and said, thank y'all so much for sending this. Just grew my edges back and my middle area that was breaking because I was wearing ponytails all the time, as a mom. And they were like, if you are a true you truly use the products, would you be interested in having your own line? And I was like, absolutely. So I've been curating this for about a year. So I have 3 items in there, and it's the growth elixir, and it's the uh, brow wand, which is a oil that allows your brows to grow back, because people don't tell you that they get thin too. And then I have a vitamin C skin glow serum that is amazing. And so I will be selling and launching those soon. And it's a lot of things in the product line. So y'all just stay tuned. Those are the 2 immediate things. And of course, the merch is going to continue to be on the website. So we just launched the BDE shirts, Big D energy shirts, and we're going to have some more styles coming out, and some more things coming out too, more merch.
Sounds good. I definitely, Niecy and I had definitely talked about attending some brunches. I hope y'all throw one up in DC, because that's where I won't go. Throw one in DC. Don't forget about us.
Natural hair products.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Tiffany's coming on.
Yeah, in a few minutes.
Are we doing the stocks today? Wow. Let's do a quick with the stocks. So just real quick, we like to do this thing with the stocks. I don't know if you want to know about this, Destiny, but I believe that everybody should be interested in investing in stocks so that we can go ahead and grow our money. So don't let everybody else grow our money. Get you a little Robinhood account, a Cash App account, and get you some stocks, baby. So anyways, this week, I don't know how your stocks went, Niecy, but it was okay, but it wasn't the best. So me personally, I didn't invest in Moderna this week, and I didn't invest in Lucid this week, but I did make a little bit of money off of Carvana.
I made a little bit off of Moderna. I got in on the upswing, and got out real quick before the stock fell. So yeah. It's one of those games right now where you have to kind of almost be watching it all day to get the little upswings in the morning, because the stock market is kind of going crazy right now, and I feel like it's going to probably be February 2022 before we start seeing some stable stock market stuff. So yes.
Well, agreed. But in short, because we transition in, just get you some stocks.
Your website, Destiny.
Huh?
What's your website?
My website is Madani Beauty, MADONNI beauty.com, which is my grandmother, my father's Donnie, and their name combination together. And as far as stocks go, I study Warren Buffett, and for me, it's like when you really don't know how stocks work for real, or when you really just don't when you want your money to work for you and you to see some real return, is the S&P is always where I keep my bulk of my money.
See, we've been talking about doing more like short term, like somewhat day trading as opposed to long term, because and telling people how to basically go in, like every morning at 9:30 a.m. stocks are going to shoot up or shoot down, at least for the first couple of minutes. So if you have a list of your watch list or whatever of stocks, and so we'll mention some stocks, you can make a choice to stay in there for a little bit of time, get you a couple of dollars or whatever, and get out. But it's gonna, in my opinion, benefit you more than the lotto, the little scratch offs. You know what I'm saying? So you get you a little bit of money. But long term stocks, that's somebody you're gonna have to research that, because you ain't gonna get you that.
And of course, Bitcoin and things like that. I came from the travel world, so I have some money in different one travel company per se, and people are ready to get back outside, so that's doing well.
So what stocks are you currently invested in other than Bitcoin, I guess, in your travel one? Are there any that you really love, or do you do any short-term stuff like trading?
Just the
like
S&P,
a day trading?
No, day trading, just
the
S&P,
long term,
because that's the overall stock market itself. And if you get into that and do your study on that, it's again, one of the things that I learned from Warren Buffett is when you don't really know what you're doing or how to play stocks. I don't know, hold one down, Lord. And then the S&P is where you should be, and you can kind of learn some things from watching that.
Well, we will look into that.
Miss Tink. Tiffany is waiting in the other live.
Oh, we gotta go. Destiny, amazing.
And
Thank
Destiny, I
you.
love your energy. I hope you'll come back again.
Thank
I
you
want to
so
go to this
much.
brunch.
To go to one of those luncheons or
The
the big
luncheon.
ball tour that you guys
Absolutely.
be having, because we love Leah over here. And
Yes.
Yes,
so
yes,
much
yes.
on. I'm gonna make sure all your information, your link tree is attached to this video for everybody to find you. Thank you
Okay.
so much for coming on.
It's been
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
right.
Y'all have a good evening.
Okay, guys,
You
we're gonna
too.
jump up to the next live.
Get on up, y'all.